So let us learn about the brachial plexus. Now first, what is the brachial plexus? Brachial plexus is actually the group of nerves supplying the upper extremity. Now here we will learn the formation and different branches or different parts of the brachial plexus. Now, brachial plexus is formed by the roots of spinal nerves. These spinal nerves, they come out of the vertebral foramen and divide into two divisions, dorsal rami and ventral rami. The dorsal rami goes and supplies the structures in the back of trunk. Rest of the body, including the front of the trunk, both the limbs and head neck, are supplied by ventral branches of the spinal nerves. Now, ventral branches of C5, C6, C7, C8 and first thoracic nerve. They join to form the brachial plexus. So these are the ventral rami of the 5 roots of the spinal nerve, the ventral rami. So these are the 5 roots forming the brachial plexus. Now first, that means C5 and C6 roots, they join, C7 continues, C8 and T1 also join, and they form the trunks. So we have upper trunk formed by joining of roots of C5 and C6. C7 continues as the middle trunk and C8 and T1 form the lower trunk. Further, each trunk divides into divisions. So the divisions are anterior and posterior for each of the trunk. The posterior division of all the 3 trunks, they join together, whereas the anterior division of upper and middle trunks, they join and they form cords. So first was the roots, then trunks, then divisions, and now the cords. So anterior division of upper and middle trunks has formed lateral cord. The anterior division of lower trunk continues as medial cord, and posterior division of all the 3 trunks join to form posterior cord. Now, these roots, trunks, division, cords and further branches are together called the brachial plexus. This is the clavicle. So if you see in the body, I am making a rough diagram. This is the head, this is the neck portion. So we are talking about this area. The nerves have come out from the neck, lateral part of the neck, in the form of roots. Then they form trunks, divisions, cords, and these divisions and cords have entered the axilla after crossing the clavicle. So the part above the clavicle, that is your roots and trunks, is called supraclavicular part of the brachial plexus, and beneath the clavicle the part is called infraclavicular part. So we can say in the supraclavicular part of the brachial plexus we have roots, trunks, divisions and their branches, and in infraclavicular part we have divisions, cords and their branches. Now before moving towards the infraclavicular part, let us see there are some branches coming out of the roots. One of the branch is formed by joining of C5, C6 and C7 roots and is called long thoracic nerve. You will see it supplies serratus anterior muscle. So what is the root value of thoracic nerve? It is the ventral rami of C5, C6 and C7 nerve. Another important nerve is given which is called dorsal scapular nerve. From here some nerves are given to the muscles of the neck, which we are not concerned over here. From the trunk, a very important part we get from the upper trunk we get two nerves coming out. One of the nerves supplies the subclavius muscle and is called nerve to subclavius. The other one is called suprascapular nerve. Now this point, look at this point. This is the point where we are getting intersection of 6 nerves. C5 and C6 nerve roots are joining and they are forming upper trunk and immediately dividing into anterior posterior division and are also giving 2 branches. So you are getting 6 nerves arising or attached to this single point, which is called Erb's point. Injury of this point may take place during delivery and it leads to a palsy called Erb's palsy. Now let us move towards the infraclavicular part. So infraclavicular part is formed of divisions and the cords and their branches. So divisions are anterior posterior for each trunk and cords are 3, lateral, medial and posterior. The cords are named lateral, medial and posterior according to their relation around the axillary artery, which is the main artery present in this area. Let us see what are the different branches given by these cords. So lateral cord remains laterally. It gives first nerve, and this nerve is called lateral pectoral nerve. It gives another nerve which is known as lateral root of median nerve, and the last one itself, it continues as musculocutaneous nerve. This musculocutaneous nerve will supply the muscles of the flexure compartment of arm after piercing a muscle called coracobrachialis. And lateral pectoral nerve will supply pectoralis major and minor muscles, the muscles of the axilla. So here we see lateral cord has given 3 branches: lateral pectoral, lateral root of median nerve and musculocutaneous nerve. Likewise, medial cord gives some branches. There are 5 in number. One is the medial pectoral nerve, which along with the lateral pectoral nerve supplies pectoralis major and minor. It gives medial cutaneous branch of arm, which will supply the medial surface of skin of arm. Next will be medial cutaneous branch of forearm. It will go to forearm and supply the skin of medial surface of forearm. Then there is ulnar nerve and medial root of median nerve. Now this medial root of median nerve and lateral root of median nerve, both of them, they join together and they form the median nerve. So medial cord gives 5 branches: medial pectoral, medial cutaneous of arm, medial cutaneous of forearm, ulnar nerve and medial root of the median nerve. Posterior cord gives the following branches. It will give 3 branches resting on the posterior wall of axilla. The names are upper subscapular nerve, the lower subscapular nerve, and in between the two there is thoracodorsal nerve. Upper subscapular and lower subscapular will supply the subscapularis muscle, and thoracodorsal nerve supplies the latissimus dorsi muscle. Both are the muscles of the posterior wall of axilla. It gives one very important nerve, the axillary nerve, and posterior cord continues downwards as radial nerve. Now of all these branches, so what do we see? Posterior cord is giving again 5 branches: upper subscapular, lower subscapular, thoracodorsal, axillary and the radial nerve. Continues, it itself continues as radial nerve. So now what we see, there are some important, very important branches which supply muscles of the upper limb: the median nerve, the ulnar nerve and the radial nerve. And none of these 3 nerves give any significant branches in the axilla. As we have discussed, the injury of the upper part of brachial plexus leads to Erb's palsy. The injury to the lower part of the brachial plexus may give rise to another palsy called as Klumpke's palsy. Now, sometimes this brachial plexus, rather than joining of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 roots, there may be an extra root present which is called C5. If C4 is present, then brachial plexus is called pre-traumatic type, and if T2 extra root is present, it is called post-traumatic type. So I will just repeat: brachial plexus has a supraclavicular part and an infraclavicular part. Supraclavicular part is made up of roots, trunks, part of division, and infraclavicular part is made up of divisions, cords and branches. and roots are all ventral rami of the spinal nerves. So suppose if I ask you what is the root value of radial nerve, you will say it is ventral rami. Look at the roots. So radial nerve is made up of ventral rami of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 spinal nerves.